Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 30 Valentine's Day Dollar Tree DIYs for you, and the theme today is pink. I hope you enjoy these DIYs. Let's DIY some Valentine's Day trees. I'm going to use one of these pencil cups from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to use a couple items to try to put this tree together. I'm going to use some glitter vinyl from the Cricut, from Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, and some of these flexible cutting mats from the kitchen section. I was looking for something sturdier than just paper to build these little Valentine's Day trees, and so I thought this would be perfect. So I'm just going to kind of roll it into a spiral cone shape, making it kind of narrow there at the end, but leaving the end large enough that the little pencil cup is going to fit in there upside down. I wanted to use the pencil cup for the form, but also for the weight to make the tree a little bit more substantial and not tippy. So I'm going to use a little dot of hot glue here on the corner of that cutting mat and gluing that in place to keep it in that shape. And that looks pretty good. It's a pretty decent sized Valentine's Day tree. I got this idea from, I think Marshall's. I saw some really beautiful blinged out Valentine's Day trees, and I thought, I bet I can make that with supplies from the Dollar Tree. So I glue the bottom, and then it's kind of hard to cut. Make sure you get some sharp scissors. I am going to cut the excess vinyl off the bottom, and so that I can fit my little cup inside. It's still a little uneven, so I'm just going to trim it up a little bit and make it look smooth. I want like cone-shaped Valentine's Day trees, and I think that looks just about right. So I just need to find a way to attach the little pencil cup to our little plastic tree. So I just do a bead of hot glue all around the edges of the bottom, and then I'm just going to sit the cutting mat tree on top. Now, my first original plan was to cover this tree with that vinyl glitter paper. The only problem that I foresaw with that was that it's really thin. I've worked with that before, and it's going to pick up all the folds that kind of are going all over that tree from the cutting mat being kind of in a spiral fashion. So I need to find something that's going to kind of block all the wrinkles, and so I decided to use some poster board, also from the Dollar Tree. You get 4 in a pack. I like working with this size because you don't have to cut it down, the large sheets. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of wrap it around just like I did before with the cutting mat, with the vinyl paper, to see how much of the vinyl paper I need, and then just kind of cutting out enough that's going to cover the entire tree. Now, I do change my strategy when I do like next trees. I get a little bit more efficient with this, but I'm just going to peel and stick that to the paper poster board and just make sure that it is nice and smooth. I like working with this Cricut paper from the Dollar Tree, but only for crafts. I hate using it on my Cricut. Then I'm just going to trim off the excess poster board. And this is going to provide a little bit more stability to the tree as well, but it's going to give me a nice smooth surface for my tree. So I'm going to kind of wind it around just like I did before, kind of tucking the corner in and rolling it around. So to do that, I'm going to start with just this little corner up here at the top, and I'm just going to attach that with a little bit of hot glue and make sure that dries. And then I can roll up the vinyl and the poster board to cover the tree. I had no idea how I was going to put these together, so this was definitely a learning experience, but I think they turned out beautiful. I hope you do too. So I do a bead of hot glue all along the outside there of the tree, which is going to be the seam, which I'll just make that the back of my tree. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess. And we have a little pink glitter tree. I think that's a lot easier than trying to cover something in glitter. And I'm getting like all of that sparkle and sheen. just trimming it down to make sure the bottom of it is nice and even. Now comes the fun part. It's time to add bling to our Christmas tree. I picked up a ton of pink bling. A lot of you guys saw this stuff on my shopping haul, and it's time to decorate. So I thought this little like flower like bead would be like a great garland to go down the tree. And so I chose like the light pink one. It's got like a little pearl in there. It kind of looks like a flower. Now, note to self, I'm just putting these on with the adhesive that's on there, but the next day they were definitely coming off. So I had to go back and hot glue this on. So know that these are not super sticky, especially on that glitter paper. If you're going to recreate, definitely put down a thin bleed of hot glue or some other kind of glue to make sure they stay on there, at least at the beginning and the end of each row, because trust me, they will fall off. So I just go around in a spiral fashion all the way down and just kind of make it work. Now I'm checking out the rest of my bling, seeing what else will look really pretty. And I got this jewel border. It's a lot shorter. It's a soft pink color again, but like it's a lot more intricate, super pretty. And I'm going to try that as well as a garland. And this is the same thing, and this is not going to stick well. I did have to go back and hot glue at least the beginning and the end of each one of those pieces on there to make sure it stays put, because it will come loose over time. But I was trying to do the easiest option first for you guys. Some of their stickers are really sticky and some are not. So it is shorter, so I did have to open some more to have enough to finish it off. And then for some more bling, I decided to use some of these light pink gemstone stickers from the Dollar Tree. They're little hearts and they're so cute. Now these are individually glued. These are a little stickier. I don't think I've had any of these pop off, but you know, you might want to glue them on. They are a little gooier, but you have to be really careful when you're peeling them off the sheet, that you take the glue with you. You don't leave it on the plastic. I filled like so much of this tree up with garland. I just have like little pink glitter paths in between the garland, and I'm just working two at a time just to make it a little bit faster and just filling in all of the holes kind of in a random fashion, but making sure like all of my hearts still stay upright. And this tree is getting the bling treatment. I love this idea of Valentine's Day trees. I think they're really fun, especially since Valentine's Day is still in winter. And I was trying to decide at this point whether I wanted to add a tree topper or not, or just leave it a cone shape. And I decided a tree topper would be really cute on there as well. So that's what it looks like so far. And then I am going to use some of these little pink glitter hearts. They're foam hearts, I guess. It's a perfect size for a little lightweight tree topper there. And I'm just going to attach that to the top of our little Valentine's Day tree with a little hot glue. And our first little Valentine's Day tree is complete. I think these turned out so cute. I make a total of 3 of these today. And this is Valentine's Day tree number 1. I'm glad that I bought all this bling now because it has definitely come in handy. Just making sure that my glue is dry there on my heart. And I think it looks really pretty. Lots of bling. These DIYs today are going to be very fun, very glam for Valentine's Day. And so here is our first little Valentine's Day tree. Isn't it all that glamorous? I just love it. I think it's so much fun. Really sweet. I think I will make a couple more of these. I love them so much. Hey guys, if you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you would hype today's video. We are going to make another one with another pencil cup and another cutting mat. But we're going to do this one a little differently. We're going to go different colors, different items. So I'm going to roll it up the same way that I did before. Actually, I think I may have rolled it like the opposite way. No, this looks the same. And then I am just gluing the tip down. It looked different there for a moment. And making sure that I get the width just right so the pencil cup will fit in there perfectly. And now I'm just going to put the pencil cup in there so I know exactly how much of the plastic to trim off for this tree. Okay, so I'm going to attach it the same way. I'm going to go around with just a bead of hot glue around the edges and stick our tree on there. The only challenging part was getting like the tip of the cone tight, but since I'm using a tree topper on them, it leaves a perfect little hole for that. Now, this is some more of that glitter vinyl from the Dollar Tree, but this one is like a very soft pink. It's almost like a rose gold color. It's super pretty. So I'm going to use that and another piece of this poster board. And you know, that comes in white or black. It's not really going to matter what color you use because you're not going to be able to see it. So this time I decided to just peel off the paper or peel off the glitter paper and stick it to the vinyl first, trying to make this a little bit easier, and then kind of seeing if I glue that to it exactly like kind of where I left off with that piece to get the right angle, then I can just wrap it around and just save a few steps. So I see how much I need to cover the entire tree and then trim off the excess, do a bead of hot glue, and then roll it around. See, I'm getting good at this, guys. And then I can trim off the rest of the poster board and the vinyl. Just trimming it up and making it look good. And this is where we're at so far. Super pretty color. I'm really digging that. Now it's the fun part. We get to add more bling. So I'm going to use this, the flower sticker again, and use that as garland. This tree, though, I'm not going to have as much garland. I'm probably going to have more ornaments on this one just to kind of mix it up. But I am going to do it like in the same direction, just wrapping that around. And reminder, don't forget to glue the ends of this because I did have to go back and hot glue the ends of both those pieces. So just a simple like 2 times around. And then I was trying to find things that I could bling it out with. And I got a bunch of packages of these stickers. They're like gemstones. And I thought they'd be perfect for Valentine's Day because they're all different colors of pink and red. And so I'm going to kind of use like, there's all different sizes on there. I'm going to use like the medium ones. And there's like 2 different colors of pink. And I'm just going to just start adding those just everywhere. And I've had a few of these pop off, so if you are worried about that, you might want to glue them on, but otherwise, they've stayed on pretty good. And I'm just kind of trying to be random with the different shades of pink and trying to get pretty good coverage all over. Lots of little ornaments on this Valentine's Day tree. I kept looking for holes, I kept finding holes, and I kept adding more gemstones. Now this has a really tiny gemstone on there. I didn't really use any of those. I just kind of stayed with all of like the medium size. And we'll use those large ones for another project today. Do you think it has enough bling yet? I think we're getting close. And that's how it looks so far. So I thought I would use another one of those little pink glitter hearts. These also come in red. That would be cute as well. But I was trying to stick with a pink theme on these little trees. Just going to open up the top of that. Kind of closed up on me a little bit. And attach my little heart tree topper with hot glue. And these are pretty easy. I mean, the only time consuming part is probably decorating them. But that's also kind of the fun part. So take your time and enjoy with the decorating part. And this is how our second little Valentine's Day tree turned out. I love the soft pink colors. I think it's so pretty for Valentine's Day. Now, I did not want all of my Valentine's trees to be the same height, but I'm using the same materials. I'm using a pencil cup and the cutting mat. And let me show you how you can make one like a little bit taller. so that you have a little bit of variety when you pair them all together. So I'm going to start like kind of the same way, just by rolling the cutting mat into a cone shape. But I was trying to do like maybe a narrower cone than I did before, trying to get it as tight as I can. Sometimes if you put your hand inside and roll it, you can get it tighter. And then I'm going to kind of sit it on top of my pencil cup like that. That way I'll get more height. So I glued the tip down just like I did before, but we just have a narrower tree. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim around to give me a flat bottom on the tree. And then I can attach that to the pencil cup. And since I don't have like kind of the edges like I did before, I'm just going to do a bead of hot glue along the inside of the tree and glue that to the mesh on the metal pencil cup. And you can use cups for the bottom. You can kind of use whatever you've got, as long as it's got kind of that sloping fashion on the side. Now, I decided to switch it up and use some of this. This is also Cricut vinyl from the Dollar Tree, but it's like a silver holographic. Not glitter, but I thought it might be fun. So let's try a holographic Valentine's Day tree. So again, I'm using a piece of that poster board from the Dollar Tree and cutting a piece of vinyl down to size. And I kind of like the idea of peeling and sticking it to the poster board first. Just makes it easier and saves a step. Now, I was trying to get this all smoothed out. There are a few bumps on there, but I'm not too worried because I'll just put ornaments there. We'll put some bling there. And kind of cutting off the excess. Now, I was worried how I was going to cover this with this to make sure that I have enough to cover the entire tree, but I'll show you how I did that. To start off, I just went straight up and down to glue it on and tried to roll it, trying to use every little inch of poster board and vinyl that I could find, cutting off a straight line and rolling that to glue it to itself. Now you'll see I came really close to covering the whole thing, but there is like a little triangular area there that didn't get covered, but that's okay. We will just go ahead and patch it. We have some excess material, and also, you know, I had a little hot glue bleed out on that, so I decided to make a little patch. I'm just going to make a really long triangle. That way it'll cover that bare spot on the bottom of the tree, and also like the hot glue that I must have just used too much. And this will be the back of the Valentine's Day tree anyway, so it won't matter that there's seams back there. So now it's the fun part again. We're going to try to decorate this thing. And this was kind of a surprise. This was called glitter ribbon. I got this at the Valentine section at the Dollar Tree, but I was not expecting it to be adhesive. I opened it up and it had like a peel off back. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll go with this. I guess it's used for scrapbooking. I thought it was just ribbon. I was kind of confused, but I'm like, okay. So I'm going to peel and stick. Now, this stuck pretty good. The only challenge I really had was trying to get it flat as I went around like those kind of crazy angles. So I kind of take my time and try to smooth it out as I go. And this stayed connected pretty well, but I would probably recommend hot gluing the beginning and the end of this as well. It's going to help it stay on better. And just working my way around to the bottom and cutting that off. And I like that so much I went back and bought more because that's cool. I like the adhesive ribbon. And so now it's time to decorate. I decided to use this pink flower again because I have a lot of it and it's going to kind of make my trees look consistent, but now I have now learned my lesson that they are not going to stay stuck. So this is me hot gluing it on. To make sure it stays on, at least the beginning and the end. You have to be really careful if you're using extremely hot glue like I was. It does kind of melt the adhesive and stuff like that, so you don't want to handle it too much. But you could always use other types of glue as well, or maybe more of a low temp gun. And I glue that end on too. And now I thought we could use some of these little glitter hearts. I love these from the Dollar Tree. They're like foam hearts. And there's like a really pretty soft pink color, kind of in a smaller size. And I thought that'd be a great ornament. Now, these are really sticky. You definitely won't have any problems with these sticking. And I am just going to use those little pink hearts as ornaments all around my tree. Just kind of random fashion, kind of filling it up. And those are super cute. I love these. I use these a lot for winter, the little snowflake ones, but I love the heart ones too. They have them in a variety of colors like this, or you can get them all in red. Just loving them. Then I thought, you know, it probably needs more bling. So I decided to use some of these little pink gemstone hearts on this one as well. I like using some of the same elements on my trees. It helps tie them in together. Since this one is not like a pink glitter, it does give you a total kind of different feel. I really like it though. It's really pretty. And I'm just going to kind of randomly put those in the places that doesn't have any ornaments or decorations yet, just to fill it out a little bit. Yeah, it needs one more. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to add another one of those little pink glitter hearts as a tree topper. And actually, I go back on this tree and add a little bit more bling because, hey, you can't have too much bling for Valentine's Day, especially if you're going for a glam look. But that's how it looks with our little tree topper on there. And I decided I liked that pink glitter ribbon, but I thought it needed like a little more texture or, you know, something to stick out a little bit. So I decided to use some of these little stickers from the Dollar Tree, these little bead stickers that come in a row. And I found this really pretty soft pink color. And I thought that'd be a nice contrast on that like more medium pink color. And so I am just gluing these around. Now, normally I don't have any problems with these sticking because they're really sticky, but since I was putting that on the glitter ribbon, I did have to go back and glue the beginning and the end of those as well because they didn't want to stay. But now they're on there for good, and this is how our third and final little Valentine's Day tree turned out. I think it's really pretty. I'm digging that holographic. Super shiny, and it picks up all different colors around it. Kind of looks like a rainbow. It's going to be a wall hanging that's inspired by French country. I'm using one of the Dollar Tree wood slat heart signs. I just removed the hanger, and even though I'm going to cover most of this heart, I am going to go ahead and paint it first because there'll be some areas like this, especially like those back parts, that you will be able to see. So I'm just going to distress the entire thing with some white acrylic paint, just so you don't see the unfinished wood in the final project. What I was wanting this to look like is a little bit of a fencing. That's why I wanted the slatted wood heart, because I want to have some flowers like looking like they're growing through the fence. Now, to cover it up, each one of the panels, I thought it would be fun to do burlap because that kind of has a garden vibe, right? So I wanted to do more like of a French country, but we're also going to be doing like a lot of Paris-inspired DIYs as well. I just go ahead and cut some of the Dollar Tree burlap roll down to size, and using a generous amount of Mod Podge, I am just going to attach that to it. These pieces have a finished edge, and as you can see, it was the perfect width for this one. Now, these middle two sections are a little bit skinnier, so I do have to trim those down. I went ahead and put some Mod Podge down first. To put this one down using the finished edge, kind of lining it up, I do want there to be a gap in between the different wood slats so I can have the flowers coming through there. But as you can see, it's a little bit too wide. So I'm just going to trim off that excess. I don't know what's easier, cutting it after or before. I think probably cutting it before is a little bit easier, but I didn't really know exactly how wide I needed it to be, so I went ahead and cut it after. For this one, I decided to cut it before. I thought that might be easier, so I'm going to cut another burlap piece down to size, and using the scrap piece for reference, I'll know how much skinnier to make this one. Another reason I wanted to paint the sign white underneath is because there's still like holes in the burlap. You'll be able to see that great texture through with the contrasting color. So again, Mod Podge, I used a little too much this time, probably enough for both of these slats. And we're going to continue on with the burlap. I like to put it on first like this and then cut like the top and the bottom and the sides later, just so the burlap won't fray as much. And the Mod Podge helps to seal that before you cut it. So once I get it all on there, I just gave it a quick dry with my heat gun, and then I'm going to flip it over and cut off the excess burlap. I wanted to combine a couple Dollar Tree signs together today to make this fun sign. So I have this wood palette sign. That's a heart. I also have that cute little love sign that you see there that looks like a wood slice. That's also from Dollar Tree. I thought that was so cute and perfect for Valentine's Day. It was in with the home decor stuff. It wasn't specifically for Valentine's Day, which I find most of my Valentine's Day crafting items like in the home decor or the crafter square. They have a lot of things that say love and stuff like that that will work really well for Valentine's Day. Now I want to use a ribbon to kind of give a black and white stripe pattern to this one, and I found this great farmhouse ribbon at the Dollar Tree. I wish I had more. Sometimes when you find a great ribbon at the Dollar Tree, you really need to stock up because you might not ever see it again. I cut a piece long enough for each one of the panels. I kind of would have liked to have doubled them up, but I didn't have enough ribbon to do that. So I'm just going to do one on each panel, and I just put some hot glue on the back. And you know, when you think of a lot of like French decor, you think of like a black and white striped. I thought this farmhouse ribbon was a really fun take on that because you kind of get that subtle black and white vertical stripe, but it's also very country feeling with the French country and vibes on this DIY. So just putting hot glue on the back of all these. Again, I will go ahead and cut the top and the bottom after I get them all attached and glued down. That way I'll get a perfect cut and I won't have to worry about getting it on there just right or cutting it too short or something like that before. So this is coming along really nicely. I like to layer Dollar Tree signs because it's going to give you a thicker sign. It's going to make it feel more substantial because these Dollar Tree signs can be a little on the thin side. And as you can see, I have sleeves on crafting. It's been really cold in Florida the last couple nights. It was like in the 40s. And I couldn't find my space heater for my crafting area. I craft out in my garage. So this was a frosty DIY today. But I just went ahead and used the same hanger that came with the sign, just putting it back on. The burlap's easy to poke through. And then I want to attach this cute little love wood slice sign. I didn't really care for the bow and the greenery that was on there. It was a little bit too farmhouse. When I want to do more French country, I want to soften up the colors. To do that, I'm going to use a little bit of the lamb's ear from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use some of the smaller pieces that are on the tops of these. Two of those I think will work well. It also has a hanger with wood beads on there, which I don't really need. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that out as well. I'm removing the staple and removing the tag on the back so that I can glue this to the heart sign. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to be able to see it back there. So I just use a little hot glue on the sign itself and attach this middle part. You could also use like the love woodward from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square, or like maybe even the like little diamond-shaped wood box that says love that you can have flowers coming out of. There's lots of fun options if you can't find this exact sign. To attach it, I just use staples. That's because that's what they did. It seemed to work well. I used one staple and I put the greenery in both. It seemed to hold it tight enough. And then for flowers, I picked up these little tiny pink flowers from the Dollar Tree the other day. They're called baby's breath, and I love them because they're really tiny. And a lot of times I need some tiny flowers to craft with. And the soft pink color of this is going to be the theme today. We're going to have lots of like soft pink colors. I think that's really romantic for Valentine's Day. Now I want these flowers to look like they're coming through the fence, kind of like that, peeking out from behind. So I cut them into individual sections. Some have 2 flowers, some have 3. I decided to try to mix it up a little bit so it's not super symmetrical. I did 2 on top, 3 on bottom, 3 on top, 2 on bottom over on this side. And we're also going to have some coming in the middle in that slat as well. I don't really want to, I just want them kind of peeking through. So I need to attach them from the back side. That makes more sense. I just use some hot glue and hot glue this on the stems where they will peek through perfectly. So just doing that here on this bottom section. And I'm also going to do the same thing here, just kind of gluing it to wherever kind of makes sense. And I love these wood slat signs from the Dollar Tree for every season. I always think they're so fun to decorate. You can give them so much personality like this. I want one kind of coming up from the back like this too. So again, I just hot glue it. And this one wanted to kind of not stay upright where I need it to be because I'm going to be hanging out on the wall. So I just tacked it down with a little dot of hot glue on that one as well. And I have a little bit of room maybe to have a flower coming out in this section right here. So just gluing that to the back of that sign there. And then to cover up the staple in the front, I thought about doing a bow, but I decided to mix it up and just do flowers on that as well because I've already got a lot of ribbon on that sign. And I'm going to do like just an odd number of flowers here, like maybe one in the middle, a couple here on each side, just attaching those with hot glue. These do stay together pretty well. They have a little tab on the top and the bottom of the flower, so even though if you cut them really short like that, they stay well attached. This is how it turned out. Our little French country, a love sign for Valentine's Day. I think it's so charming and would look great with any Valentine's Day decor. Again, the theme today is like pink, soft, romantic, French theme for Valentine's Day, and I really love that theme. Super fun, and I had so much fun putting that one together. I wanted to do a little candle for my kitchen as well. I couldn't really find a candle holder that I liked or that I had that would work, and so I'm just going to use one of these little chunky circle wood blocks from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to make a little candle base. I'm going to use a battery operated candle from the Dollar Tree, so it doesn't really matter what it's made out of, but I'm going to want to bling this out a little bit. The cut was a little rough, so I do sand it down and then just fill the little hole for the hanger with a little bit of spackle. And then we can decorate this. I was thinking I found that great glitter that you see there from the Dollar Tree that we could make a really fun looking glitter candle for Valentine's Day. You know, I don't work with glitter hardly ever, so I was a little scared, but it worked out well. So just sanding off my excess spackle, and then I wanted this to look bling, but I also kind of wanted it to coordinate with that candy dish, so I'm using some of this gold acrylic again that I got at Dollar General, and we are going to paint that little wood block gold. Now, since this is raw wood, it's going to paint really well. Just one coat is all it's going to need. Just trying to work in the same direction on the top so that it'll look kind of nice. Don't really want to go swirly or anything like that. But I just wanted some bling for that. I thought that'd be really cute for the base. Now, I wanted to bling out the edges, and so I'm going to use those little gold like flower stickers from the Dollar Tree. But I'm gluing the beginning and the end. I'm trained at this point. Definitely glue the beginning and the ends and keep it tight so that whatever it's sticking to, it's going to stay stuck to. And I'm just going to feed those all the way around. That coordinates really nicely with the gold paint that we used on the candle holder, and it goes nicely with the candy dish that we just made. And just gluing down the end of that. And then I thought maybe it might need a little bit more bling. So I'm just kind of seeing how much room I have around the edges with the candle on there. And I have a little bit of room. So I'm going to use some of these light pink gemstone stickers and bling out the top of this candle holder as well. I kind of like alternate directions, trying to help with my spacing. It doesn't help. I still end up misspacing. Sometimes it's like really hard to get this to start and stop exactly where you want. But basically, I'm just going to do a row of those little pink hearts all the way around it. You could kind of space them out a little bit if you wanted. I thought I had pretty good spacing, but then I got to this part and some areas were kind of tighter and some places not, but we're going to make it work. This is me rearranging, patching, trying to get an even amount of little hearts on there, and that looks pretty good. Now, the candle that we use is red. I thought red would be good. You're not going to be able to see the outside very much because I want to make a glitter candle, but you will be able to see the red on the top of the candle, so that'll add a little bit of color to that. And this is the glitter that I found. These are the bags from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree, but I think they also have like these like in little vials as well. I've seen there before. And so I'm just going to put out a paper plate and use one bag of that light pink glitter. Now, this was barely enough to cover the candle. So I really kind of had to work with it to make it look good. But I'm just going to take off the wrapper on these candles. These little candles from the Dollar Tree, they kind of feel kind of rubbery on the outside. They kind of feel like a candle. And just taking the little tag off the battery, making sure it works. Thank goodness. And then to attach the glitter to the sides of the candle, I'm just going to use Mod Podge. You could use school glue. Any of that kind of stuff's going to work. Just something to glue the glitter on. Something that you can kind of get on there in a thin coat. So I just go all around the edges. One thing I like about the battery operated candle is that it does have that like wavy edge. I think that makes it look a little bit less like a battery operated candle and kind of cute. So just going all over, and we're going to just start rolling this candle in the glitter. I got to this part and I was like, oh my goodness, I am totally not going to have enough. And I have like some little bold spots on the red candle. But I just kept kind of rolling the candle exactly where I saw some glitter if I saw like a bald spot. And it just kept going back and forth until I use every drop of that glitter, which is good. Less glitter on my workstation. And it was a close call here at the end. I thought I was going to have a few bald spots, but I ended up with actually really good coverage, but I definitely had to work for it there at the end. Isn't that pretty? I'm loving the glitter candle. Now, I wanted to decorate it with a little touch of Valentine's Day. I don't really have any hearts except for the little heart gemstones around there. So I'm actually going to decorate the front of that candle with one of these little glitter stickers from the Dollar Tree, the foam one. Since I did the pink glitter on the candle, I thought the red glitter heart would look really cute on there. And these are pretty sticky. It didn't have any problems sticking to the glitter. And I'm just going to stick that on the front of our candle. And that's all there is to this DIY. It was super easy to put this little candle together, and it's going to look great in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. Just making sure that I got that heart super stuck down to the glitter. I was a little worried that it was going to fall off, but it actually stayed really good. And this is how it turned out, our little glitter Valentine's Day candle. Little blinged out glam Valentine's Day base. Okay, for the next DIY, I also found these new hearts from the Dollar Tree. I posted about these on social media the other day. I think they're so cute. They're little wood hearts that have like the distressed white beads on them. And I really thought they would look cute hung as a grouping. So I picked up 3 of them. I'm just going to remove the hangers from 2 of them because I won't need that. And I want to have backs on them, and I want them to be pink hearts, very soft pink hearts. So the only thing I could find at the Dollar Tree that was the color I liked was the Dollar Tree baby blankets in the soft pink color. You could also use like scrapbook paper or whatever you want to line the back of these if you want yours to be like a solid heart too. And I just laid the blanket on the back of it and used like a Sharpie to kind of sketch out exactly how big I need it to be. I don't want it to be so big that it's going to hang over the edges, but I want it to be wide enough that it will cover the heart. I can kind of stretch it taut, kind of give it a fabric appearance on the back of these. These baby blankets, I've crafted with these before. They're great felt material. They don't really fray at all, so they're really fun to use for crafting. I just used the first heart as a template to draw out 2 more because we're going to be doing 3. If you wanted to, you could use like 3 different colors of pink and do kind of an ombre effect. But I wanted very soft pink for all of these DIYs today, so I'm going to go ahead and use the baby blanket on all 3. But I did consider that. And again, I'm just cutting these out kind of roughly where I drew the Sharpie line on there, you won't be able to see any of that because it'll be hidden on the back of the heart. And I'm just going to attach them with hot glue on the back. This DIY was also really easy to do, and it turned out so cute. And it's a large wall hanging that covers like a large area of my wall. Be great like on a skinny area of a wall. I think I'm going to do it on the kind of skinnier wall I have next to my entryway when you first walk in for Valentine's Day. So I just put some hot glue all around, stretching it taut, kind of like a canvas on the back of it, kind of a reverse kind of canvas look, and the heart is the frame. I thought this would be a fun way to add some color to these because I love that they're white and they're distressed already. Some of you guys were asking me if I plan to paint them or leave them, and I was like, I'm not sure yet, but you know what? I kind of like them just as is. The distress job they did on these is actually pretty good. So I just do the same thing on all three hearts. I did leave the hanger on one of them to hang the entire wall hanging, but I did remove the hanger, from the other two because it would get in the way when I go to tie them all together. I want them to look like they are hanging like from a ribbon of some sort. And I was thinking what I could use for that. I decided on the Dollar Tree burlap roll. Since I've already used that on a DIY today, it's going to help these French country crafts like really coordinate well together. I just glue it on the heart top here of the wood frame. And I only glue it on that, not necessarily on the fabric. I don't want to mess up the fabric by getting any hot glue on there that might be visible. And then I'm going to string it to the middle heart. And I want about 5 inches in between these. I think that's going to be a good spacing. And so just using my ruler for the first one, I can kind of measure 5 inches just so I can kind of get an idea on the spacing. Again, I hot glue it this time to the tip of the heart frame here. And I have to kind of cut these, as you can see, like in pointed shapes. That way you won't be able to see any of the burlap underneath the pink blanket. It's a little bit transparent. I'm also going to reinforce it with a staple on each one because the frame is nice and thick. You can use your staple gun and it's not going to come through or anything like that. And it's going to just reinforce this, make sure it stays together. I'm going to use the first one as a template to cut down my second piece of burlap roll, the same size. That way my spacing will be exactly the same. Again, just gluing it on with some hot glue to the top part of the heart frame. And the other part's going to go on the bottom of the heart with a hanger on the top. And again, I am reinforcing just with my staple gun to make it a little bit sturdier. I'm not going to add any other details or anything to this. I think it's perfect as is. Isn't that so charming? I love these frames. I found them in one of my larger Dollar Trees. I haven't been looking in my smaller ones just yet, but hopefully everybody gets them in. They're in with the home decor though, not necessarily Valentine's Day, but be sure to pick some up for your Valentine's Day crafting because I think they're really fun. What do you guys think about this one? As you can see, it's pretty large and a great wall hanging for Valentine's Day. I found this great glitter XOXO bag at the Dollar Tree, and I thought it was the perfect size to cover one of these little Dollar Tree cutting boards. That way I can kind of stand it in my kitchen, have a little decorative cutting board for Valentine's Day, and see how it fits perfectly underneath the holes for the handle of the bag. So it'll be a full piece. And then I'm just using a Sharpie and tracing out the shape of the cutting board. I wanted to include the XOXO on the side. I don't care if I cut off part of the hearts. And the glitter is only on the front of this bag, and so I'm going to then try to cut off the front of this bag. It's just going to give me a really kind of thicker cardboard piece that's going to be great for crafting with. I love decorating with Dollar Tree gift bags. I think they're so pretty. And this one definitely had the bling. Now the cutting board did have kind of a rounded edge, so I am cutting that too. Just cutting that down to size. So this is definitely going to be just a decorative piece for my kitchen, but I love the amount of bling it brought, and it looks so cute for Valentine's Day. And it only costs $2.50 to make. So I'm going to go ahead and line that up on the back because I also want to cut out like the handle of the cutting board so you can tell that it's a cutting board. And I just draw that out with a Sharpie and then carefully kind of fold it to get my scissors in there to cut around. This part was a little bit tricky, trying to cut it exactly to size. but just take your time and make it work. I also used a gift bag to cover a smaller cutting board for my coffee bar. A very fun idea and super easy. Now, I was trying to decide how I wanted to glue that down. I thought that Mod Podge might be the ticket since it is kind of a paper product. The cutting board, though, is made out of plastic, so I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but I went ahead and put down probably a pretty heavy coat of hot glue all over, or not hot glue, Mod Podge all over, and then I'm going to lay the paper bag on top. Now, this worked pretty well for like 90% of the bag, but for some reason, once I smooth this out, I just keep smoothing it, trying to make sure I don't have any bubbles. And the only parts that did not want to stay down at all were the two sides. They just, every time I put them down, they kind of like just pop back up. And I don't know if it was just because the paper was so wet or what, but I was trying to get it to stay down. The top and the bottom and the body of it, like it stayed down really well. Trying to scrape it, which was kind of hard because of the glitter on there, but I kind of give up on the sides and decide to go in and just hot glue it. I didn't really want to do that because you can kind of see a little ridge there, but I kind of needed to do it because it was not going to stay down just on the edges. Maybe a different type of glue would have worked better. And there it is. You can't get much easier than that. Our little XOXO Bling cutting board for Valentine's Day. This is going to look great in my kitchen. I decided to make a few of these pieces for my kitchen today to bring a little bling in for Valentine's Day. And a cutting board is the perfect thing to start with. And this is how it turned out. I love the glitter on the bag. I think it's so pretty. And I love that it says XOXO. Super cute. For the next DIY, I picked up 3 of these longer board signs from the Dollar Tree. And I want to make like a wood slat sign to use one of their Eiffel Tower wall jumbo stickers on to do like a little French wall hanging. It comes like in 2 pieces like this that you have to put together, which is why I'm going to have 2 slats together so it'll be wide enough for the Eiffel Tower. The third sign is actually just going to be used to attach it all together. And so I'm choosing my 2 flattest pieces here for the bottom. And this one, I'm just going to hot glue to both. I thought that would make it really sturdy and I don't have to worry about popsicle sticks or anything like that. So I just put a lot of hot glue there on the back and glue it to the back. And it seemed to work really well to make a palette sign that way. So just pick up an extra one. Now for the color, I'm using this very soft pink color. Can't remember the name of it. I'll try to look it up and include it in the description. But again, I wanted soft pink to be at the basis of all of these French-inspired DIYs today. So I wanted the Eiffel Tower to have like a pink background. I want it to be a very thin coat of paint though. I want good coverage, but I'm going to distress this heavily to make it look vintage, French country style. So I just want it very soft pink. Now for the wall stickers, you have to be very careful when you're working with these because they do like to rip. I did rip the second half of this a tiny bit, but I was able to fix it. But just be very gentle when you're peeling them off because, again, they're just made out of sticker material. I'm going to try to get this aligned where I think it would make sense. It's not going to be necessarily centered because I still have to fit all the flowers there on the other side of the Eiffel Tower. I kind of wish that the flowers were separate. I could add them separately, but it's all one image. So this is the one I kind of ripped one of the flowers a little bit. So yes, be very gentle pulling those off. And I want to line this up, but I don't want to overlap it because I don't want there to be a ridge. So they are peel and stick, to use on your wall. So they're a little forgiving. If you get them on there wrong, you can peel them up and kind of rearrange those. And just removing any backing that might still be left in there. I had a little bit of overlap there. So I just pick it up and rearrange it. And I think that looks very pretty for Valentine's Day. There's also some other items on here I can use. I can use like je t'aime, which means I love you in French. I had French in high school and college, but I can't say that I can speak it at all. And I'm just going to peel and stick those kind of going down the side of the sign. I don't really have anything over here, so that makes sense. and that's very appropriate for Valentine's Day. They also had a heart on here, which I tried to use. I did think it was a little too big and colorful, though. I do replace it with something else you'll see here in a minute. But I did try it with the heart that came with it. I didn't really like the navy on it. As you can see, there's navy on the Eiffel Tower and on the writing. And I'm also going to use one of their flowers. I'm going to distress everything a lot, though, so it'll tone down that navy for sure. I do want to seal it on to make sure it stays on and to take away some of the gloss off of it looking like a sticker. So I just use some matte finish Mod Podge from the Dollar Tree and go over everything. I want to go over all the parts of the stickers, all the part of the signs. It's going to help seal it on there, but it's also going to help tone down the shininess. I don't want this to be a shiny project. And if you can't tell, the Eiffel Tower and some of it is gold. And so I'm also going to be adding a gold heart to this as well. Now, I told you I was going to distress it heavily, and I did. So just using some white acrylic and a chunky brush, I just drag it over in one direction. I wanted this to look like an old painted sign. I use a baby wipe to remove some of the excess paint. And you can always add, you can always take off some of the distressing if you distress too heavily. I did want this to be a heavily distressed project, though, so I do distress it here a couple of times until I get it the way that I like it. Now, for the heart, I'm going to use one of those little wooden hearts there from the Dollar Tree. I thought that'd be a more appropriate size. And I'm going to paint it gold with like a metallic gold acrylic paint, which I'm also going to distress a little bit so it'll kind of go with the vibe of the sign. But that'll go in with the other gold touches on the sign and be very cute. Just one little heart here to kind of go with the Valentine's Day theme. I just attach it with a dot of hot glue. The hangers, I left the hangers on the top of the sign. 2 of them are open, the 2 on the sides, and so I can still use those to hang the sign. It's just going to be a double wide sign. So I just string it from the back with some twine. I like to knot them on the front. I find that they hang a little bit better that way. And the same thing here on the other side. I do distress mine a little bit more with like a little bit of a sanding sponge. And I go back in with a little bit of paint. I also went in and cut my stickers here to be on the different slatted boards, just because I think it looks a little bit better when you do it like that. And this is how it turned out. If you didn't want to distress yours, I think it would be really pretty as well. But I was going for, that French country kind of inspired Valentine's Day. So I did distress mine pretty heavily, but I love how it turned out. I think it's so pretty. And a nice, fun wall hanging to go with the French-inspired Valentine's Day. I wanted to do something with beads and glitter. I thought a hanging sign like a heart with beads and glitter would be really cute. So I'm going to use one of these little wood heart signs from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to cover it in some of that glitter vinyl from the Dollar Tree in that beautiful hot pink color. So I'm just going to kind of line it up here on the back so that I can draw and then cut this vinyl down to size. And it's just going to be like a giant sticker to stick on our sign. Such an easy way to get some bling. Now, I normally don't like how thin these signs are, and I usually try to double them up or something, but I'm going to build out from this and bling it out, so it's going to make it look better, I think. So just cutting this out, it was a little tricky because it wanted to kind of roll up on me, but just trying to lay it down and doing the best I can to stay on the line to give myself a perfect cut. If you do go a little big, it's better than going a little short because you can always use some sandpaper to sand off the edges. So I'm going to peel and stick. I find it easier to line up if I actually lay it down flat like that and then lay the sign on top of it for some reason. Especially because I'm trying to keep my big head out of the shot there. But I'm just going to lay that down and then smooth that out. And it turned out really cute. And then I got those little glass beads from the Dollar Tree, and I wanted to do something with that on here to kind of make it look really cool. So I'm just sanding all around the edges, making sure that I got a perfect cut, and that cuts off the vinyl at a perfect shape. And then I'm going to use one of these little Cricut weeders from the Dollar Tree to try to find where the holes are, because I do want this to be a hanging sign. So I do want to kind of reestablish the holes here. Just kind of trying to feel where they are and poking those back through. I'm not going to reattach the twine though. We'll do something a little bit more glam, I think, to hang that. Now, this is one of the little love words from the Dollar Tree. The little wood cutouts are so cute. And I was thinking if there was any way I could cover that with glass beads. It was a little tricky, but I think that I pulled it off. I was worried, though, that you were going to be able to see between the beads and that it was going to be like that raw wood color. So the first thing I decided to do is just paint the love word pink. That way the background will be pink as well. And I'm going to use those light pink beads that are kind of the same color as this to try to glue those onto it. So just using a makeup sponge, doing one coat of pink paint really easily over the word, and then drying that. And then I wanted to be careful that I only cut out like the parts here that I needed so that the rest of these glass beads would kind of stay intact. So I'm actually just going to cut the package like right around the beads that I want. Way easier. And I did use both of these. I may have needed a little bit more, but I had another package, but I didn't really want to open it, so we're going to make it work. Now, putting the glue on it, I was afraid I didn't want glue to go around the edges and stick on there, so I'm just kind of drawing out the love word in glue, but I'm not really spreading it out, if you know what I mean. I'm just kind of leaving it on there like that, and then I'm just going to start sprinkling it with glass beads. I started doing this and I was like, I think I'm getting like more on my cutting mat than I'm getting on the letters, but I was persistent. So I also turned it upside down and tried to kind of sit it on there and pick up the glass beads as well, which kind of worked. It did kind of smear them a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of shape it back up a little bit with that Cricut weeder to make sure that I don't have beads stuck to the side. I really only want the beads stuck to the front of the letters. So once I got to that point, I thought that there was still like some blank spaces, and I still had beads laying around, obviously. And so I'm just using my fine tip hot glue gun, putting hot glue like on any bare places, and then trying to patch that in. That hot glue is not very hot, so I'm not going to burn myself. But this was a little tedious, trying to fill in the holes. But I think it made it look better at the end, because it definitely looks bling and beautiful. And it's going to look great on this little hot pink glitter heart sign, I think. So I'm just going to kind of put it there in the middle. I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. And try to center that the best that I can. I think it probably glued through the vinyl a little bit to attach to the sign because it seemed pretty sturdy. And now we need to bling it. So I'm going through what bling I have left. I had a bunch of these pink and purple and clear like gemstone stickers. And I had some like really big ones. And so I thought I would use the pink ones and go all the way around the edges. My camera died on me there for a little bit, but I'm just using my detail hot glue gun and gluing those all the way around. I started on this thinking, you know, I have so many of these. And then I started getting to like this point and I was like, you know, I hope I have as many of these as I think I do, because how am I going to make it all the way around this heart? I really wanted it to be consistent, and I really like this nice chunky glass gem for the edges, but I'm going to keep going, thinking that I probably have more, and I did have more left over from that DIY earlier. And so I'm going to keep building, but that is the last package. Now, I did have another package of like the multicolored, which had some on there as well. So I was thinking maybe we can still make it. You'll see, I end up being too short, but we were going to make it work. So I keep building by stealing them off of this one. I get to the end, I realize I'm too short. And they have like a purple color, which is pretty close. but I don't really want them to be just on one side. That would look weird. And so I'm going to peel off the one at the end and make that purple, and the one at the top and make that one purple. That way it kind of makes sense. It's kind of hard to even tell in this lighting that they're different colors, but they're kind of different colors. And then I wanted to add more bling. So I got these little heart gemstones from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. They're not stickers. They're really nice size though. And they're kind of like what the round ones that we use, but they're heart shaped. And so I'm picking out some like clear ones and some like pink ones. I thought those would look nice on the sign. And kind of like a random pattern like that. And then I was also thinking, the glitter foam stickers would probably look really cute on there as well. Bringing out all the bling for these Glam Valentine's Day DIYs. And this sign was really fun. When you're decorating something like this, you can just go hog wild and just keep blinging it out. And so I used like the little light pink foam glitter hearts first, just kind of randomly around. And then I'm also going to use those gemstone hearts as well, kind of alternating the colors and attaching those with hot glue. No sticky on those at all. And just kind of filling up any of the spaces on here. We're going for maximum bling here. So we've got lots of light pink and hot pink so far on this sign. Then I thought maybe I need a little bit of red in there too. So I have some of the little red foam stickers that are shaped like hearts with little heart cutouts. And I'm actually going to layer those on top of the light pink ones to make it a little bit thicker, add even more color, more bling. And I'm going to do that on all of them. And how much bling have I added to this little love? I love it. I love the little beaded heart too. And then I'm going to use some of this soft pink. It's called Garland. It came from the Valentine's section at the Dollar Tree. It was on a ribbon roll, like ribbon, but it's actually kind of this like beaded garland. So I'm trying to decide how I can attach that. And some of the beads are small enough to go through the hole. And so I do feed that through, and then I'm just going to attach it with some hot glue on the back. It kind of stops before you get to the bigger beads. And I'm just going to cut off a piece that'd be great for the hanger and feed that through from the front as well and glue that to the back. And gave me a really fun, glamorous hanger for our little blinged out heart for Valentine's Day. And I'm thinking, does it have enough bling? And yes, I think it does have enough bling. Look how shiny this is and fun. I love it. And this is how it turned out. Our little bling love. You can see that beautiful glass beads on the love word. Super cute. The next Valentine's Day DIY was really easy. I'm going to use this great frame that I got at the Dollar Tree the other day and this free printable that I designed, and I will share a link to the free printable in the description of today's video. So be sure to check that out. Now this frame looks like wood, and I think it looks very French country vibe, but it's actually made out of plastic, which is kind of surprising, right? It doesn't even have glass. It kind of has like a plastic film for the front. The only thing I didn't like about it is there's this little plastic tab that they didn't cut great on each side of the picture frame, so I'm just trimming mine off with a razor blade. But otherwise, it looks like a white wood frame with a beaded pattern. I love that. For the Eiffel Tower image, I designed this great watercolor of the Eiffel Tower with a little heart on there. I printed mine out on cardstock just because I think it's easy to craft with. You could also do it with paper too. And it's a 4x6 frame, so I printed it out at 4x6, but my picture was a tiny bit too big. So I'm going to use the plastic film that was for the front of the frame as a guide to be able to cut this down just a little bit so it will fit. But I don't want a plastic shiny sheen on the front of it. I want it to be matte. So I put the cardstock first, and then I just used the plastic as a spacer to help fill up the frame and popped on the back. It's really cute as is. It really gives you that look of a white wood frame, and I love the wood beading around the edges. It looks like little wood beads. Mine were distressed pretty heavily, so some of the ones that were distressed a lot, I just kind of went over and distressed with some white acrylic just to brighten them up a little bit. I want them to look distressed, but I don't want them to look super dark. But otherwise, that's all there was to it. I told you that this was going to be an easy DIY. Very French we have with the Eiffel Tower. I love Paris. It's definitely one of my favorite cities I've ever visited. I would love to go back there again sometime soon. But I think it just screams romance. So I think this is a perfect Valentine's Day decor piece. And if you see one of those frames, be sure to pick it up. It was so cute. I'm going to have to get some more of those. I really love it. I am obsessed with these jars from the Dollar Tree. They are great for $1.25. They're nice and big. They're sturdy. They have a great lid. I am going to DIY a little candy dish for Valentine's Day for my kitchen as well, to kind of go with that cutting board that we just made. So just removing the tag from the bottom. I want to bling this, but I don't want to bling the lid because I want to be able to open the lid and close the lid without knocking any bling off. So I thought, how can I bling it? And the first step I decided was to use some of this gold metallic acrylic paint. I get this at Dollar General, and I am just going to paint the silver lid gold just to kind of go with my vibe. That cutting board had gold, and I've used a lot of gold for Valentine's Day this year, so I thought that'd be really pretty. So I just did a thin coat on the top and the sides. I did have to go back and do a second coat to make sure that I cover up all of the silver and I get that good sheen. I love this metallic paint. It's so shiny and fun. You could also do this with spray paint, but it's probably going to be more expensive. And just finishing that up, I think I got pretty good coverage on that. And then I wanted to decorate it some more, but again, I don't want to use like anything that's going to interfere with the function of it. So I thought this adhesive glitter ribbon that we just used would be perfect for around the edges. It's going to add some color, some bling, but it's not going to interfere with being able to undo the candy dish and re-screw the jar lid back on. So I'm just going to peel and stick this around. And this actually has stayed on pretty good. And I love the pink and the gold. It's already starting to look a little bit bling. Then I thought I'd use one of these little red glitter wood hearts for the lid. So I just peel off the little sticky sticker on there and glue that to the lid because I kind of want it to be flat and tight on the lid. Because again, I just want functionality for the lid. I can definitely bling out the jar. So that's the lid. And now let's bling out the jar. So these are the kind of like the pink ones that we've already been using, right? But these are the gold ones. And I know that's not going to stick on the glass. So I definitely hot glued the beginning and the end of each one because now I've learned my lesson. And I'm going to use a couple pieces to go all the way around our jar. I want this to be a candy jar for Hershey Kisses. I think like the holiday kisses are great for Valentine's Day, and the kiss theme definitely goes with Valentine's Day. So that's what I plan to put in there. So I'm going to leave the jar clear. I want those red kisses to show through the glass jar, but I just wanted to add some bling. Now, this is one of those glass stickers from the Dollar Tree, the Crafter Square. It had a big like love heart on there that I used for a previous DIY. But this time we're just going to use the little glass sticker for a kiss. And we're actually using it on glass this time, and it fits on there perfectly. And it goes with the Hershey Kisses theme. A cute little label. Then I was thinking, does it have enough bling? And then I'm like, no, it needs more. So I'm going to use some of this kind of iridescent pink heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree, the Valentine's Day section. And I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. I do a dot at the beginning, a dot of glue about halfway through, and then a dot of glue here at the end to make sure it stays on. And I think that's a decent amount of bling on our little candy dish. It's looking super glam for Valentine's Day. And now it's just time for kisses. I picked these up at the Dollar Tree. I got 4 bags. You don't get very many in a bag. Not sure if it's cheaper to get them at the Dollar Tree or somewhere else. But they have the red wrapper, which is what I was looking for. And so I'm just going to fill this up. I probably could have fit a few more bags in here if I wanted, but that's probably going to be good. And I just love these jars. They are great for storage. I also made a snow globe with this, with one of my winter DIYs. But here's our little Hershey Kiss, like totally glam blinged out little candy dish for Valentine's Day. I really love all the colors and the bling. For the next DIY, I found these great pink bottles. Now, mine had them in with like Valentine's decor, like on an end cap, but they kind of look like a home decor piece. It's a very soft pink color. I thought this would be really fun to make like an oil diffuser out of. It's so pretty. I thought it'd be perfect for Valentine's Day. So I picked up some oil from the Dollar Tree. This is the warming oil, but it seemed like it was pretty close to just essential oil, which is what I needed for this. I chose peppermint. Peppermint's not always a fragrance that I use, but I'm going to have this in the kitchen. And you know what? Peppermint oil is great for keeping pests away. I've used it. I've sprayed it all over my garage to get rid of spiders. It worked really well for that. But anytime I can kind of repel pests and have something smell good, I'm going to go for that. So I just poured the entire bottle in, and then I just need to mix that with the carrier oil. I'm just using vegetable oil. You just want an oil that doesn't have any kind of scent. And then mix it well. I filled it up about a third of the way with the vegetable oil, and again, the entire bottle of the essential oils. For the Reed diffuser sticks, I had some of these that I picked up at Target. I'm not sure if Dollar Tree carries these. They might. You never know. And I'm just going to use as many as kind of makes sense for this size bottle. I think 5 or 6. I think 5 is what I ended up doing. And then I'm just going to finish it off with a little wood heart from the Dollar Tree Valentine's Day section. In pink, I just put a little dot of hot glue on there and add that to the front of the diffuser. Really easy and functional. Just be sure if you're going to make one of these, you want to rotate your reeds. So flip them over like every day for maximum effect. But I think this is just a fun DIY and a great use for these beautiful bottles from the Dollar Tree to kind of make it something functional by making an oil diffuser. And as you can see, it was really easy to do. You just need some essential oils and some carrier oils. For the next DIY, I wanted to do a French-inspired floral arrangement for Valentine's Day. I found this great like milk jug at the Dollar Tree. It's like a milk jug vase. The thing I liked about it is that it's white and it had a little metal key on it. So I thought that'd be really cute, like a little key to my heart kind of theme for Valentine's Day. And instead of roses, you could use pink roses for this. I found some great flowers that they say they're Easter, but they were like in with like my regular floral aisle at my Dollar Tree, with a soft pink and white stripe. And I thought that was a fun, subtle touch to the striped effect that, you see with French decor. And I'm also using some of this farmhouse ribbon from the Dollar Tree in a black and white stripe to tie around the vase to replace the black and white check that was on there. I don't have quite enough of this to make a bow, but I'm just going to kind of tie it, droop the bow down. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. I really want the key to be the star of the show on this one. And I love the milky white color of this vase. I think it's really pretty. These are the flowers. They're like very soft pink, so that's why I went with these. I thought it'd be a little bit of a surprise other than roses, and I think they're really pretty. I think they look very French country. I'm going to go ahead and display them in the vase. It is a little too tall, so I'm just going to try to cut the stem, bend it up a little bit just to make it shorter, but it's very lightweight and the vase is very small, so I don't really have to put anything in there to arrange it. I can just kind of stand it in there like that and use like the metal that's in there to kind of arrange them how I like, leaving it all attached. Another trick I like to do with Dollar Tree flowers is sometimes they can be a little wrinkled. If you go over them with a blow dryer or like a heat gun like I do, they will come right out. You'll have some smooth looking flowers that look way better, especially for $1.25. You can't beat that. This is how it turned out. Really easy to do. A little French country inspired floral arrangement. I'm also going to be DIYing a tray today to display this with some other items that we're also going to DIY. As you can see, the key on there is like made out of metal. It's really cute and it's kind of like heart shaped. So I think it's just a subtle nod to Valentine's Day and really charming. I love the color of the flowers. Now for the next item for the tray that we're going to DIY, I found this great candle holder from the Dollar Tree that says love. It's got a little handle on there. And I thought we would DIY a candle using one of the soft pink tall glass candles from the Dollar Tree. I probably should have used two. For some reason, I thought one was going to be enough. They never go as far as you think. I just put them in a pot of water on my stove that had been boiling, let that sit and melt. And I'm actually going to use the actual wick and everything that came from that candle once it melted. And I'm just going to use a little hot glue just to get me started so I can kind of center the wick. You can always get wick kits on Amazon as well, but if you can reuse the one that came in the candle, you might as well do it. To make sure that the wick doesn't fall down into the candle while it's setting up, I'm going to take a couple popsicle sticks and just attaching them together with some masking tape. I'm going to make a little hole there for the wick so it will stay up when I go ahead and pour in the wax. So I melted this entire soft pink candle down, pouring the whole thing in. Again, I probably could have got away with two. You always need more than you think when you're working with candles and wax. I'm going to tape this, it'll stay in place, and set this aside to let the candle set up and harden. Now for the tray. This is the first time I found these from the Dollar Tree, these little trays. They're so cute. They're the perfect size for a little tray. They already have the feet on them. And the pattern on this one was actually not too bad. I didn't really want like a plaid though. I wanted something a little bit more greenery. So I'm going to show you how I DIY'd mine. First of all, I'm going to go over it with a couple of coats of white acrylic. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to be using that removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree, which works great, but especially on a white pattern like that, that is not going to cover those black lines on there. You will be able to see it through. You don't think you will, but you will. I've had that happen to me before. So I just went over it with enough coats to cover up mainly the pattern. And then just using it as a stencil, I'm going to use a pencil to draw on the back of the removable wallpaper. I love crafting with the Dollar Tree removable wallpaper. This is one of the newer patterns that they have with the leaves. And I thought this looked great for like a garden, like a French garden kind of theme. Not something that screams Valentine's Day, but I think it's going to be a great backdrop for the candle that we just DIY'd and that floral arrangement. And I have another idea to add to this as well. It's not very big, but I think this is going to look really cute sitting in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. And I just go ahead and cut it out, peel and stick. Couldn't be any easier. I do want to make sure it's on there really smooth. So I just use like a Cricut scraper to kind of scrape it down. I got mine on there pretty good, but if you have any of the paper kind of coming over the edges, a sanding sponge, these are from the hardware section at the Dollar Tree, work great for removing any of the excess paper and cleaning it up a little bit. And how easy was that for a tray? You don't even have to attach the feet or anything. Just two items from the Dollar Tree. I think it looks so cute for spring. And after Valentine's Day, I could also use this for another spring display. I think it's just really pretty, very subtle, but be sure to look for those trays. I found mine in like the home decor section at my Dollar Tree. And that was the only pattern that I saw them in. I don't know if they come in any others. I probably should have picked up some more. I think that the floral arrangement's going to look great on there. I did set my candle aside so it would start to set up. Just going to cut off the excess wick, trying to make sure it's not too long. Let me show you how it turned out. See, I totally could have put a larger candle in there if I would have went ahead and melted two of them, but it's still cute and it says love. So it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Again, this is not a Valentine's Day item. This is something I found like in the candle holder aisle at Dollar Tree with the regular stuff, but it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Very cute, and I think this is going to look great with that floral arrangement on the tray that we DIY'd. So it's a little shorter, so I can kind of put that in the front. I also wanted to add a heart. I had this little soft pink wood heart. That was from a Target Dollar Spot like tier tray builder kit that I got a couple of years ago at Target. And then I also want to do a wood bead garland. I found one of these from Dollar Tree. I do want to do a small one, so I thought this would work perfect. It's already got the tassel on there, and I can use like the natural wood beads and mix in some Valentine's Day colors as well. Since we're doing this soft pink, I'm going to use some of their soft pink and white beads. I decided to do 2 natural, a pink, a white, and then keep repeating that pattern to fill this up. Just a small wood bead garland, something that's going to fit on the tray and adds a little bit of decor to it. And I love making these. I think they're so fun for tier trays and trays like this as well. To finish it off, I just loop the twine around and go through the last bead that I want on there. And that should hold it in place without anything else. And it's already got the tassel on there, so it's ready to go. I'm just going to kind of wrap that around the candle and the heart there in the front. I did think the tassel was a little longer than I wanted, so I did go in there and trim that up just a little bit to make it a little bit shorter. But I love how this tray turned out. Let me show you how it all looks together. We have those great striped flowers and that adorable little vase there with the key. Our pink love candle and the wood bead garland. And I finished off with that little heart and the cute little tray DIY. It was really fun to do, and I think it looks great together for Valentine's Day. Very romantic. Okay, check out this cute sign that I found at the Dollar Tree. Nice big sign. It says "Be Mine" in red glitter, and then it has like white glitter hearts all over, and it's that soft pink color that we've been working with a lot today. So I thought we could make a standing decor with this. I wanted to bling out the edges, and so I'm going to use some of this like iridescent red heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree and just go all the way around. I wanted to show you how pretty and sparkly that sign is. And that's also going to cover up the little hole there in the top as well. And then I plan on using one of these little signs from the Dollar Tree as a base to make it stand up. I've never done that with a sign this big. I did have a little trouble, but I'll show you how I fixed that. So I'm going to switch to my like fine tip hot glue gun because I don't want like lots of hot glue coming out because there's like little spaces in between the hearts and I'm not going to need very much. The only thing I don't like about that hot glue is that I don't think it gets as hot, so I kind of have to work like really quickly, so I kind of have to do smaller sections. Otherwise, that hot glue is definitely going to set up on me. And we're just going to bling this out all the way around the edges. I think this is just going to provide a fun little border and frame detail to the heart sign. I always like to add to these Dollar Tree signs to make them feel like, you know, more substantial, a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side, just working all the way around. And I picked this ribbon because it is going to go great around these curves. It bends well. And that looks super cute. Now, I love all the glitter on there. I think that's going to be perfect for today. And then I thought we'd add a little bit more glitter with this light pink ribbon from the Dollar Tree. Now, this really is glitter ribbon. There is no like sticky backing on there. It's kind of confusing because they're both called glitter ribbon. And so I'm just going to cut a long piece of that out. And we're just going to tie just a very simple, cute little bow here on the front, trying to make sure all of the glitter is visible. And I'm just going to attach it to the top. I thought that would be kind of sweet. Sweet little detail to add to the sign. So we're just going to go ahead and trim off her tails. And this is ready to attach to this. Usually I like to redo Dollar Tree signs completely, but this sign was really cute. They're doing really good with their signs this year. Sometimes they don't even use glitter, which always pleases me. But we're going for glam today, so the more glitter, the better. Now, this is the base we're going to use. The white pole on there is like kind of perfect, but I didn't really want to go with the wood base. I thought that wasn't really going to go with any of the bling decor that we got going on today. So I'm just going to use a little painter's tape to make sure we don't get any paint on the wire. And then I'm just using acrylic paint in a bright red color. I think this is called Candy Apple. And we're just going to go over that wood sign and make a red base. And I love working with these. I always pick these little signs up from the Dollar Tree whenever I see them because they are a great way to make standing decor with items from the Dollar Tree. They're pretty strong too. It's kind of hard to get that little metal circle off though. So if you're trying to get that off, I've gotten it off before, but usually it ends up in mutilation. Now to bling out the edges of the base, I'm going to use some of those little red dot stickers from the Dollar Tree. Hot gluing the beginning and end. And we're going to just feed those all the way around the base, just to add a little bit of bling to the base, not too much. And I'm going to go around all the edges just in case that you can see it from the back as well. And I've trained myself to glue those things down now. And now it is ready to attach it to our little Be Mine sign. I like to use these because I just can use the little metal circle on there, cover it with hot glue, and then glue that to whatever I'm doing. Now, I've never glued it to something as big as this sign, so I did have a little trouble here. So I put a lot of hot glue on there, glue it to it, try not to burn myself. That metal definitely gets hot, and then glue that to it. Now, the problem that I had was that sign was big. It was kind of heavy, and so when I stood it up, it kind of wanted to tip over, like towards the front. I just kind of needed it to lean back a little bit. So to fix that, what I did is I just did a little bead of hot glue all along the front edge and then let that set up. It made a little ridge that you can't see, but look, now it stands up just fine. So crisis averted. And there is our little Be Mine sign for Valentine's Day. I love taking a hanging sign and making it shelf decor. It's a great way to fill like a lot of space with decorating. Now, the next DIY is going to be super simple. Look at this beautiful candy dish I found at Dollar Tree for $1.25. It's got a soft pink ceramic heart on the top. Perfect for a candy dish for Valentine's Day, and it's going to go great with the soft pink colors. I also found some of this heart ribbon from the Dollar Tree that has little hearts on it on the top and the bottom. That's also that soft pink color. I think that's going to look really cute. And I am just going to attach that with a drop of hot glue here. And just to decorate the top part to bring a little Valentine's Day decor to the jar itself. The lid is perfect. I don't have to do anything to it. And that is it. This is ready to fill with candy. I picked up some Hershey Kisses and Hugs from Target. And I think these will be perfect because the hugs are like a light pink and white wrapping, and the kisses are like the traditional like silver foil. And I'm just going to simply fill up this candy jar and display this in my kitchen for Valentine's Day. Such an easy DIY. These jars are great. I think they come in a couple different color lids, but I really love the soft pink color of this one. Isn't that so cute and so easy to do? Well, let me show you how it turned out. You could add some more colors to the top of the jar, but I really liked the ceramic finish of it. So I think the addition of just the heart ribbon there added a little bit more fun to it. You could also tie a ribbon around it. It'd be really cute too. But a super easy DIY, right? And this is how some of those French country-inspired Valentine's Day items look together, the things that are not hanging, as you can kind of see the vibe that goes along with all of them. Okay, I wanted to do like a little fun flower arrangement. So I'm going to use one of these candle holders from the Dollar Tree. They have some great candle holders right now. They're so pretty. This is a pink one. It has like a little metal ribbon around it. It's got great texture. I think it looks really pretty. I did want it to kind of coordinate with the other DIYs we did today though, so I'm using some of that gold acrylic paint to go over the silver metal just to kind of make it coordinate. The silver is pretty too though. And I'm just kind of using a small brush, trying to be careful to kind of keep it off the glass and kind of just get the metal. I thought taping it at all those angles probably not going to be possible. And then it did take 2 coats to cover that metal again, kind of like the lid on our little candy dish. I don't want any of that silver shining through. I just want it to be that beautiful. It almost kind of looks brass color. And then I want to use these little red flowers that I got at the Valentine section at the Dollar Tree. I guess they're kind of roses. I used the little glitter. It was like a beaded heart on my tier tray that I use my baking tier tray. And so I had this left over. So I'm just going to remove the wrapper. It comes like with a little concrete base. And I'm going to leave that little stake on there because I thought we could replace that little heart with that great big pink glitter heart that you see there, the wall hanging. Now to fill the jar, I'm going to use some of the red sand from the Dollar Tree. It's going to definitely go well for Valentine's Day. And I'm just going to fill all the way around the little concrete block in there. That way you won't be able to see that inside. Of course, I had to make a little bit of a mess there. But that worked out perfectly. And you can't really even tell the dish was pink. It looks like super red now. Now, this is the wall hanging glitter heart. I thought this was all kinds of bling. I tried to remove the hanger carefully, but I guess it doesn't matter how careful you are. It kind of damages it. So I'm just going to kind of cut that part off and try to fix that area because I made it look kind of bad up there. So I'm definitely trying to repair my damage by hot gluing that little piece back on. You can still kind of see the foam though, so I'm going to use some of this pink glitter adhesive ribbon. It's almost exactly the same color, and I'm just going to make a little DIY patch. It might be better to leave the ribbon on there, try to make it into a bow or something. I don't know. And now it's ready, and I'm going to use that same little stake that's on there from before and carefully put that in my heart, trying not to go all the way through. And I thought it needed maybe just a little heart, so it's kind of out of focus there. I'm going to use the little pink heart gemstone, just one, just on that little gold front of the little jar. You'll be able to see that here in just a second. And then I think it's looking really cute. I thought I could add a little bit more fun, totally going for a fun, glam, whimsical. And so I thought I have some of the little light pink glitter stakes from the Dollar Tree as well. And I thought maybe I might be able to fit a few in there. It was a little tricky getting it around the concrete, but I'm just going to kind of lean one to the left and one to the right, pushing it down into that red sand that we put in there and trying to work it around the flowers that were on there. It was a little tricky, but we're going to get it to work. And those match to the large glitter heart really perfectly. I think it looks really cute. It's kind of hard to show you without dumping out all my sand, but this is how it turned out. Our little fun floral arrangement for Glam Valentine's Day. Super cute. Now for the next DIY, we're going to be doing a Valentine's Day tier tray. This is a tier tray that I did that has a very similar style, like very soft pinks, lots of like greenery with like lamb's ear and stuff like that, and very French-inspired decor. Enjoy. So I always like to do a little bit of a garland or something like that along at least one of my tiers, and so that's exactly what I'm going to do with this one. I'm using some of the white heart lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut a piece down to size. I can drape that along the top tier, and this is the tier tray that we're going to be decorating for this one, my white wood two-tier tray that I got on Amazon. Now, this was kind of my inspiration piece for the whole thing. It is a little pink Let Love Grow barn that I just got at Dollar Tree. And I really want to go with like a light pink and white, like romantic roses kind of feel for this tier tray. So I don't really appreciate that love was in kind of a bright red. I'm trying not to really do any reds on this one. So I'm just going to update the color, just simply using the love word that's written on there as a guide and using my white Posca paint pen. I love these paint pens. I am going to just go over what was already there. I don't really mind like the little red hearts. That's kind of nice and subtle. And I kind of want to distress the barn, kind of make it look a little bit more antique anyway. So I'm fine with like repainting this one. I did go over it just to kind of make sure that, you know, paint pen can be a little blotchy here and there just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. And also to make sure that I covered up like any of the red that might be peeking out. And then I'm just going to distress the whole thing, just to kind of make it look older and prettier. So I'm just using a little bit of like parchment ivory color and just distressing in one direction. I even distress like the wood on the roof and stuff like that, just a very light dry brushing. And then I'm also going to go in there with a little bit of pink. This is pink polish. This was like a very similar color to the barn itself. And I did that to kind of distress the word love and the white words too, to kind of give them a little bit of distressing too, to kind of make it all go together. And it just has, I think, way more character now. I'm going to put it right here in the back. It's in the back because it's kind of tall, but you can still kind of read it from the front. And I think that turned out really cute. Now for the next item, this is a little candle holder that I picked up at Dollar Tree. It's got the little wood love heart on it, and it's just a light pink glass. Instead of using it for a candle holder, though, I thought it would make a really cute little vase, little mini vase that we could make for plants for the Let Love Grow theme. Now, I don't really want like the exposed natural wood, so I'm just going to paint that real quick with a little bit of antique parchment ivory paint, just to kind of give me that pink and white feel with it for the vase. Now to hold the flowers up in there, I'm just going to use a little bit of floral foam from Dollar Tree. I like to buy these ones that come like in the 4-pack like that. A little bit smaller and easier to work with, especially for small projects like this. I'm just going to cut off a small piece and shorten it so it'll fit inside, just something that I can kind of put my plants into. And I'm going to be using some of the lamb's ear from Dollar Tree. I kind of need it to be on a smaller scale though, so I've already cut this apart, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it down even shorter. I'm going to be using a lot of the Dollar Tree lamb's ear for this project. I loved this soft, fuzzy, like green leaves. I think it's going to look really pretty with like my pink roses theme and not too colorful. So I just take a couple of the little sprigs and just kind of shortening them down so they are about the right scale for this little mini vase and arranging them in there. I'm actually not going to do roses with this one. I actually picked up some of these little soft pink little hearts. They do have a touch of glitter on them, but nothing crazy to kind of take away from the feel of this project. And so I think these are going to be just fine. So I'm just going to be using the little pink hearts instead of flowers. I thought that'd be really cute with the Let Love Grow theme. And I like to work with like odd numbers and stuff like this. So I'm going to do a total of 3 of them. I think that's going to be plenty. I'm making sure to not include the leaves with them. This piece has a little baby's breath on there, and I did try it, but I thought it kind of took away from it. So I'm just going to be using just the little pink foam hearts. That is all. And I love the soft colors of the pink and the lamb's ear together. I think it's so pretty and kind of romantic feeling, as is the entire tier tray. So this was super easy. Let me show you how it looks, our little pink love vase. I think they kind of have these little candle holders year round. I've seen them a lot. I'm going to put that kind of in the front here. And then that's kind of the major big pieces I want for the top tier. So we're going to move to the bottom tier. I found this great box at Dollar Tree, and they had these in like 3 different sizes, I think. And I kind of chose the medium size for mine. I thought it totally matched with the theme. And we can make it like a little box sign. It says Be Mine on it. It's got like the pink roses and really the feel that I'm going for with this tier tray. But it's all kind of glossy, plasticky looking. So I'm going to distress mine. I'm just using some like ivory color and a dry brush. And I'm just going to simply like lightly distress all over, anywhere where you might be able to see, even like the flowers on the side. It's got like a little magnetic closure on there so it'll stay closed. But I just kind of want to age it a little bit with a very light distress. I think that looks better. And I was happy with the distressing, but I thought it was still a little too glossy from like that, you know, the seal that they use on it. So I'm then going to go over it with just some matte Mod Podge, and that's going to take a lot of that gloss out and just make it look more like, you know, just regular paper, which is kind of the look that I wanted with this little box. So I'm not going to put anything in it. I'm actually just going to display it on its side so you can kind of read it like a sign. Isn't this so cute? Little Be Mine box from the Dollar Tree. It didn't need much, just a little distressing. We're going to put that over here on this side, on the bottom. And then the next piece I found was from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. It's a little light up rose. I don't know if it's specifically Crafter Square. I think that's where I picked mine up. Or if it's Valentine's Day, but it has like a little turn on there. You can light it up. I'm going to use a soft pink color to kind of go with that romantic feel. Pink polish, apple barrel paint. I got this on Amazon. I'll try to link my colors. I've been buying apple barrel paint on Amazon a lot more because it's only like 58 cents, free prime shipping. So easy, so much easier than going to Walmart. So I just used a makeup sponge and gave a light coat of pink to that. I'm not going to worry about the back of it or anything like that. And then I'm going to like dry brush a little bit of that ivory all over just to kind of make it look a little bit more vintage and aged too. And we're going to be doing little pink roses on this tier tray from the Dollar Tree. And I think this is going to match perfectly. And it even lights up. How cute is that? I'm going to put it right back here on the other side of our tier tray and keep DIYing. I saw these little light pink paper doilies from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could do something really cute with these. I like to do like little mini pillows sometimes for tier trays, and I thought I could probably turn the paper doily into like a little like quilted like little heart pillow. So that's what I'm going to go for here. I'm just using some plain white fabric from Dollar Tree. It doesn't matter if it's cotton or polyester. I think this one's polyester. And I have it folded in half so I can cut 2 layers. I'm going to need 2 hearts, a little bit smaller than the doily. And then I thought we could just attach the doily to the fabric and make a really cute little custom pillow. Now, I don't want to get any ink on my paper doily, so I'm kind of using my ink pen, giving myself a nice border around, and I'll just know to cut way inside that line because I do want the scalloped edges of the doily instead of the edges of the fabric. Now, even though this is just like regular polyester, it does cut pretty well. I didn't really notice any fraying or anything like that. But as you can see, I'm just cutting, I don't know, like a 1/4 of an inch on the inside of my heart so that I have a large enough pillow, but really no exposed edges. Now, I don't know if you could, I'm assuming you could use regular Mod Podge for this, but I happen to have some of the fabric Mod Podge, and so I'm going to try that. But again, I think you could probably get away with regular. As you can see, the fabric Mod Podge, the thing I noticed different about it is that it's a lot thicker. So I'm just going to spread that fabric Mod Podge here on the back, and you can see how thick it is. I kind of have to like lop it on. I'm trying to spread it out as evenly as I can. The doily is fairly thin. And then once I get it covered on the back, I'm just going to simply lay that on one of the white fabric hearts. And the reason I chose white is because I wanted you to be able to see that beautiful like pink doily design all along the edges. I thought that'd make a cute little pillow. So I'm just kind of pushing down on that, making sure it is all glued down just with a little wet wipe. And then the other white heart can be the back of the pillow. And it's just a matter of putting it together. It's going to be really simple, of course, no sew. I don't like to break out the sewing machine unless I have to. And so I'm just making sure that is kind of dry enough where I can work with it. And we can start putting this together. On the bottom heart, I just do a bead of hot glue. I'm going to do like about half the heart here to get us started. And kind of line this up. Again, I don't really want to see any of the white fabric from the front. I want it to be lined up fairly well with the fabric heart that we attached the doily to. I left a little bit too big of a window, so I'm going to go ahead and close up one side, and that's just going to leave one little part of the heart that's open so that we can stuff the pillow. Now for stuffing, I like to save old bed pillows instead of buying polyfill. I think it's just a great way to recycle those. And so I'm just taking a little bit of fluff. It doesn't take much. And we're going to stuff this little pillow. I have seen recently that some Dollar Trees are carrying the little bags of polyfill. So that's always an option as well. I have picked up maybe one or two, but I really kind of rely on bed pillows because, you know, those things don't last that long. And then I'm just going to do a little bead of hot glue to close this pillow up. I thought it turned out really cute. It kind of has like, you know, a pink quilted pillow feel, but also the look of a dainty little doily for Valentine's Day. And it actually worked out pretty well. I haven't used that fabric Mod Podge too much, but I do like it. I'm going to kind of lean it up against the pole here in the very front and kind of off to the side. Now the next find was from Dollar Tree. It's a pink glass candle, super cute. It's got like, it's like the little glass studs on the outside. What is that called? I can't remember what that's called. And I thought that would be really cute. Kind of leans into the romantic feel. And I'm going to put it right there in that corner. Then for the other corner, I found the cutest little pink and white little creamer from the Dollar Tree. And I thought I could use some of these little stickers that I got at the Dollar Tree. These are so cool. They look like embossed metal. I was really impressed with these. I kind of wanted to do the love heart, but I thought it would be easier to kind of do the long rose. It's going to kind of go with my theme too. And it's kind of got like a pink behind the rose, so it totally goes with the theme. Now, even though it's a sticker, it didn't really want to stick too well to the ceramic little creamer. And so I'm just going to do some hot glue here on the back to make it a little bit sturdier. And I love how this turned out. Like, the sticker doesn't look anything like a sticker. It really looks like high-end, like embossed metal on there. I was really impressed with how this turned out. Isn't that so cute? And I think that's going to be the perfect size to kind of fill out for larger pieces on this tier tray. And then we can start filling everything else in. Now, I thought maybe you couldn't see the little light up rose back there as well. So I just put a little wood block from Five Below underneath of it to kind of boost it up. And I told you we were going to be using a lot of the lamb's ear from Dollar Tree for filler for the Let Love Grow. I really wanted a lot of plants. I am going to kind of cut some of them down into like some smaller pieces so I can kind of work it in and out of all the things that we just DIY'd for the tier tray. This tier tray was so easy to put together and it looks so pretty. I just love it. So I start here on the top tier and just start putting like a sprig here and there wherever it kind of makes sense. I don't really want to cover up that Let Love Grow barn though, because that kind of was my inspiration for the whole thing. So I will push that down a little bit here to make sure that you can still read it. But basically that's going to fill up the two corners on the top that don't really have anything. Then moving to the bottom, we're also going to be using the lamb's ear down here. And again, I'm just kind of filling in any open space where I kind of think it will look good. And anytime you do like a plant kind of theme with your tier tray, it's so easy because you can fill up all the empty spaces on your tier tray easily with the greenery of your choice. And this definitely worked well. I'm so excited that Dollar Tree has the lamb's ear now. It's just one of my favorite greenery to decorate with. I have a few gaps on the sides, and I actually had some individual leaves from cutting those apart. And so I'm just going to kind of just scatter those around as well too, just to keep going with that theme. Now, these are the pink roses that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I do want to see if I can kind of age them, kind of make them look more real if I can. So I'm going to show you, I think it kind of works. I probably could have done a little bit more to it, but I want to try to kind of whitewash slightly to kind of add some color variation to the Dollar Tree roses to see if we can make them look a little bit more realistic. So I just start, there's 6 little pink roses on there, and I start with some warm water in just a jar, and I'm just adding that antique parchment ivory color and mixing that up. I don't really know my ratio. I didn't add probably as much as I wanted because I do have to go back and add a little bit more. But I'm just going to take the roses with the stem still attached and dip that down in there. I've kind of done this technique to age like the fall leaves from Dollar Tree, and it worked really well. I didn't really dip them though, so this is the first time I've tried like dipping them. So I'm just going to dip all of them, laying them flat on my silicone mat like that. So it kind of all drips down towards the inside of the flower. And then I just dried mine with my heat gun. And you can already see after one dip, I do get a little bit a different variation, but it wasn't as significant as what I was wanting. So I added more of that ivory color to the water to make it a little bit thicker. And I'm going to go in with a second dip on mine, just because I don't think I added enough paint the first time. I kind of want like some little dots, little variations in color. I think anytime you can do that to a cheap flower like this, you're going to get like a more high-end look. So I dipped all 6 of them again, just laying them face down like that. And then I went in with my heat gun and dried them because I wanted to be able to get this project done, but you could just let them sit. But this was so much faster. And as you can see, the pink is softer. I've got like a little bit of variation in colors. You can even see some spots on the bottom of that one, which I really liked. And it also makes each one of them, you know, a little bit more unique and individual. And I think these are going to look really pretty to finish off this tier tray. Just a matter of drying them. I kind of dried the bottom of them first and then kind of went back and dried the insides. And they dried actually pretty fast. And another thing about using your heat gun is if any of your leaves are like bent up or anything like that, super kind of easy to iron them almost with the heat to flatten them out. This is how they look. I think they're so pretty. I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the little stems. I just left those on there to use in the dipping process. I just want the blooms so we can scatter those all around the tier tray. Isn't that such a soft pink color? Now, if you're only able to find kind of the more obnoxious pink roses they have right now, you could probably do this technique with more paint to soften them up. Mine were already kind of a light pink color, but I think it did add to them, and I plan to use that technique in the future. I like it. So for the top tier, I'm going to scatter them around. One here, one here. I'm going to kind of make it look like the greenery for the roses is that beautiful lamb's ear. And I just want a little touch of roses all over. I kind of have this bigger area here that I needed to decorate. So I'm going to do, I think, 3 roses here. And then I'll save the other 3 roses for the bottom of the tier tray. And just kind of scatter those around too. Kind of like wherever it kind of makes sense to have one. And I just love this theme. It's probably the most romantic looking Valentine's Day tier tray I've ever done. And I think it goes well with the French-inspired theme. I love the soft pinks. It can be really romantic when you use one color scheme like this, especially on a tier tray. But I love all of the soft greens on this one from the greenery, that lamb's ear. I love using that from the Dollar Tree. It's just so soft. And that heart ribbon at the top is so cute. But lots of little pink items from the Dollar Tree. I made this tier tray for my kitchen for Valentine's Day, and I think it's so pretty. Definitely one of my favorite Valentine's Day tier trays that I have ever done. But I'm going to give you a quick look around here of the tier tray so you can see how it all looks together. I think this one came together nicely. I'll let you guys ask where I get my tier trays from. My rectangular ones like this, I have a wood one and I have a white one, and I got both of those on Amazon. I do have them linked in my shop, but they go out of stock a lot, so you'll have to shop around, but that's a great place to get them. I got one of these little long pink lip sign from the Valentine's Day section at the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could bling this out as well. I kind of wanted to go with like a XO theme with this since it's got like a little lip cutout. I thought that'd be cute. So we're going to use this glitter ribbon again in this pink color. And we're going to try to spell out XO. Now the X is super easy. You can just cut out 2 pieces of ribbon and crisscross those and you're going to have an X. I was a little bit more worried about the O because I didn't really have anything to use as like a stencil. I really wasn't wanting to get my Cricut out. And so I'm actually going to use this ribbon to make the O, and I'll show you how I do it. And I am just going to use a little bead of hot glue on this to make sure it sticks because I had problems with that sticking on one of those Valentine's Day trees. Now for the O, I don't want it to look like super square-like, so I'm going to cut like a top and bottom, but a little shorter. And try to get, about the same distance, tall, like for my XO, same height. And then I'm going to cut the sides shorter as well. And then I'm going to kind of make it like what? Like a hexagon shape? Maybe an octagon shape. Yeah, an octagon shape. To kind of make it look kind of like more fun shape for an O. Because it's going to kind of have the rounded edges, if you know what I mean. And then I'll just cut 4 pieces here and kind of go corner to corner with those to fill out my O. Just cutting them down to size and gluing those on. And these may have stayed stuck without glue, but at this point I was paranoid and I want to bling this out, so I want it to stay put for sure. I don't want it falling off. So I finished off my O. I think it turned out pretty well. And it coordinates nicely with the X. Now I was trying to decide how I could bling out these even more. These signs are kind of plain and boring. The pink color is fine, but we were going for glam today, so I wanted to add as much glam as I could. So we're going to do like these little gemstones, and I want to cover the ribbon with those. So these are like the pink color, and these are the circle ones. And my plan was to cover the entire thing with these. But then I got to this point, and again, I'm going to be a little bit shy, but we're going to make it work because I have so much bling that we can just kind of make this 2 different colors. So I kind of started from the bottom when I realized I was kind of short. That way we can kind of fade it into a different color and then back into the pink. We're going to make it work. And I had some red ones that I thought were about the same size on the multicolored sheets. And we're just going to make it work and do several rows in the red. I was pondering, is this going to work? It actually did work, and I kind of like the fact that they were blinged out in different colors. It just makes it more colorful and fun for Valentine's Day. So I did 1 row at the top, 2 rows on the bottom, and then I'm just going to do 1 for the middle of my X. Now for the O, I want to bling it out too, but I kind of used all of my little round gemstones, and so I was trying to see what would work. I have like these pink like oval gemstones, and then I have like the little red heart gemstones still. So I thought maybe since we had to do the 2 colors before, we could kind of go with it. And I could do like 4 rows of red in the middle of this letter as well to kind of make it look intentional. So I glue 4 of those little red heart gemstones onto this, kind of in the middle of the letter, just like before. And then we'll do the rest of it in pink. And for pink, I have some more gemstones I got at the Crafter Square. They're not stickers either. They're like just little pink ovals. They're so pretty. They have so much great bling at the Dollar Tree. Obviously, you've seen so much of it that I've used today. And I did a really good job going through all of my bling that I bought. I thought I was going to have way too much. And I'm just going to glue the oval shape. I thought the oval shape would be great because this is like an oval shaped O. And fill out the top part, gluing each one of those down. And then I'm going to do the same thing here along the bottom. I was trying to figure out how much bling I could add to this without really taking away from the XO shape. I want that to be legible and to be able to read it. But I don't really like the thin Dollar Tree sign, so I thought I could kind of frame it out with some of these little pink bead stickers. from the Dollar Tree, which are super sticky. I think these will stay stuck. And I am going to frame out the entire little pink house. I have some of these in red too, I think with like a heart cutout. And I was thinking about cutting the chimney off of them and kind of making them look like fence posts. I think that would be really cute too. Because this is a really tall house. And I went around the chimney with the little pink beads. And I'm going to go down and frame it out completely with these. These are so easy to work with. I love DIYing with these little bead stickers. And then I thought, you know, there was a cutout of the lips. I probably should go around that as well and bling that out. It's definitely making it look more decorative. And then I thought I wanted to kind of decorate in the middle of the O. So I'm going to use one of the little red glitter foam stickers. Kind of center that in the middle. And then I thought it would be cute to kind of use some of those pink beads that we used on the border to kind of bling out the border of it as well. That way it doesn't look quite as flat. All the gemstones are kind of thick and the little foam stickers kind of flat. And we're just going to border that out just by going around all the edges with the little pink beads. And then finishing off with a little pink heart gemstone glued right to the middle. And I'm thinking that's probably an adequate amount of bling. But I thought maybe the little cutout there could use a little sparkle. So I thought I could use some of that hot pink glitter vinyl behind the little heart cutout just to make those little lips pop. So I'm just going to cut off a little spare piece of that. You could also use like glitter scrapbook paper, whatever you've got. And I'm going to glue that on the back. Just trying to keep it as smooth as possible. That vinyl does kind of like to wrinkle a little bit. So I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. And we have some bright pink lips. Now, I do want this to be a hanging sign like it was before. So it does have the little whole hangers on there. And I'm going to use the rest of that like light pink garland that we used to make a hanger before. I really like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just cutting off the larger beads and feeding the smaller beads through the hole. They fit through there fine. And then attaching that to the back of the sign with hot glue. This isn't a very heavy sign, so I think it's going to hold up fine. I was a little worried with the beads kind of overlapping the beads, but they're kind of different colors, so I think it's going to be okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side. And we have a little blinged out XOXO sign with some sparkly lips. Super fun for Valentine's Day, especially for a glam look. And this is how it turned out. It was not a super serious project. It was very whimsical and fun, and definitely a lot of bling on this DIY. What do you guys think about our little XO sign? I really hope you enjoyed these 30 Dollar Tree Valentine's DIYs. I had a great time putting this video together for you. Let me know which DIY was your favorite down in the comments below, or just come say hello. And you can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. And this is a QR code if you would like to buy me a coffee. Enjoy the final reveal.
Beneath the starlit sky, our love's secret line, like leaves we soar so high. Beneath the moonlight, the soft touch your hand in mine gets me every time. Lost in the city lights, our love's electric ride. You make me feel alive. I know July is gone. You make me feel at home in the you're there, ease my mind. Like stars that never die, you and I will shine during the darkest times. As the leaves change color, I dive into you. When summer's fading, there's nothing to do but bask in the glory of the winter sun. Maybe this is the season of love. As the leaves change color, I dive into you. When summer's fading, there's nothing to do but bask in the glory of the winter sun. Maybe this is the season of love. Maybe this is the season of love.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's Valentine's Day crafting marathon. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Shiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, Pal Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Jenny, Debbie Austin, James Osborne, and Lizette Thomas. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you would like to join our membership, you're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube. Now, would you like even more Valentine's Day crafting inspiration? Be sure to check out one of these DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Valentine's Day.